Advocate Mahlodi Muofhe has stepped down from his position as head of the domestic intelligence at the State Security Agency after he reached the retirement age of 65. Now, his tenure was at some stage marred by reports suggesting a tense relationship with State Security Minister Ayanda Nyathi over xenophobic attacks in the country, among other issues. He leaves the agency after it was once again thrust into the spotlight during the spate of violence and looting, which some say caught the spooks off guard. Advocate Moufhe is joining us now via our video link to reflect on some of the turbulent times, if you like, that he endured as the country's head of domestic intelligence. Advocate Moufhe, great to have you on the program. Thanks very much indeed for speaking to us on the AM report. You were appointed by President Cyril Ramaphosa in 2019, if my memory serves me well, but I'm sure it was the events of the week gone by that are also lingering in your mind as you step down. How would you describe these past few weeks?
Good morning and good morning to your viewers. What transpired in the past few weeks is regrettable, should not have transpired, because we are in the process of renewing and rebuilding our country. It is something that we should all be ashamed of, that destruction of properties and looting of businesses, both black and white, didn't do us any good during these turbulent times when our economy and global economies are not doing well.
I'm sure I don't need to tell you about the criticism that's been leveled against the State Security Agency, given the response to the violence we've seen. With the benefit of hindsight, what do you reckon, given your position, should have been done differently?
I think generally authorities have articulated themselves very well there. Some mistakes were done in the process, but you must understand that during the course of working, sometimes mistakes do happen. You must appreciate the fact that even at that period, no lives were lost coming from the artilleries of law enforcement agencies. It was a difficult period, and it's unfortunate, though, that post that many lives got lost, about 300. One life is one life too many. We regret that. It shouldn't have happened. But I guess we must also, as South Africans, shoulder some blame that we must act responsibly. What occurred in the few weeks should not have occurred at all, because we have seen people openly calling for people to go and loot and damage properties in the name of whatever they thought they were being revolutionaries for. Damaging our country, that is wrong. But we have learned from the mistakes of the past. And I hope that even South Africans are regretting that what happened in the past should not have happened. It could not have been a situation where, for that not to happen, the security cluster had to police everybody. We must, on our own, as citizens, be responsible enough and appreciate the fact that we are rebuilding our country. We need our country to take its position in the world nations of countries. And that would not happen if we are going to be doing what we did in the past.
Advocate Moufhe, sorry to interrupt you there. When you speak about mistakes, are you able to share with us specifically what you mean by that? Perhaps an example of a mistake that you regret?
Well, all I'm saying is that, we do not want any property to be damaged. That's what it is. And I'm sure, starting with citizens themselves, if they didn't do all those things, no property would have been damaged, no life would have been lost. But of course, we should have been on guard as well as the cluster to try and prevent some of those things which occurred in the past.
Mm. Over your time as the head of domestic intelligence, there's been various reports of you perhaps not seeing eye to eye with now Minister Ayanda Nyathi. To what extent would you agree with people who said that perhaps you've had a rocky relationship with the minister?
Minister Ayanda Nyathi and I never crossed paths. In the line of our duty, exercising oversight over us as the political head, perhaps there were some robust engagements there. But I can confidently say that, and I think Minister Nyathi and myself on various platforms, we have been saying that our relationship, even as I part with the department going on retirement, she's one of those who said she regrets that I'm leaving. And I must be honest, we've got a very, very healthy relationship, Minister Nyathi and myself.
That's good to hear. Let's speak about, I guess, how the past couple of years have actually panned out. There were recommendations by Dr. Moufhe about ways through which the SSA could do things better. How far are we with implementing those recommendations as you close this chapter?
Yes, there is a lot of work being done. It's not something which you can just do, in one day. But I know that officials that I am leaving behind, and Minister Nyathi and Deputy Minister Zizikodwa, they are working to implement the Sydney Moufhe report, which was adopted and accepted into our president. And some parts of them, which I can say personally, is that it also recommended that those who basically were corrupt in the agency have to face the full might of the law. I can tell you that as I live now, we have somewhere around 6 to 7 criminal cases that we have opened at the Littleton police station against some of our members. And there are very few, by the way. Majority of SSA members are professional women and men who want to serve this country well. It's unfortunate that few rotten apples gave the impression that the agency is a corrupt agency.
Yeah.
There are a lot of...
Right, sorry to come in there. In fact, on that note, you've been quoted as saying that the agency itself has been in the headlines in the past for all the wrong reasons. What impact do you reckon that's had on the image of the SSA, keeping in mind its objectives and mandate?
Yeah. Yes, I must confess that we even saw officials who went at the Zondo Commission laying bare some of the fox passes of the past. I think those were regrettable, really. And I think that's why I'm saying that it's not as if many officials in the agency are corrupt. You only need 1 or 2 or 3 corrupt people who would give the agency that image. But the agency, in the past 2 or so years that I've been there, we've been working very hard to try and cleanse ourselves from the image of the past. What happened at the Zondo Commission, we're talking about what happened in the past. That is why we even have the Sydney Moufhe report, which gives us a guideline on how to reorganize, renew, and rebuild the energy. And I'm saying my colleagues I'm leaving behind are well alive to that fact, and they're doing their utmost best to ensure that they cleanse the agency from its bad past.
All right, we're going to have to fold it there. Thanks very much indeed for your time. I wish you a most fulfilling retirement moving forward, and hopefully things can only get better from here on, at least in part because of your contribution. Advocate Mahlodi Muofhe, thanks very much indeed. He's now the retired head of domestic intelligence at the State Security Agency.